One-day polling for Moresby Northwest concluded. Transparency International concerned on polling deferral. And NASFUND commits to Million Trees campaign.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Friday's news. After the deferral of the one-day polling from Wednesday to Friday, residents in the Moresby Northwest electorate lined up at various polling sites to cast their vote. 42 candidates are vying for the seat left vacant by the late Sir Mekere Marauta, who passed away in January this year. While security forces were out controlling the crowd, there were some frustrated people who did not get to vote.
Polling started as early as 8:30 a.m. for the long-awaited Moresby Northwest by-election. People flooded in with numbers at various polling areas to cast their votes for their preferred candidates. The turn-up was good, and despite the large numbers, police force was in full control of the crowd. The day running smoothly. For others, it was all frustration on their faces as the names were not in the common rolls. Former Women's Rep for Motu Koitabu, Mary Oala, on behalf of other voters, raised concerns regarding the common roll.
Right now, as I stand here speaking on behalf of some of the disappointed voters here in the Moresby Northwest area, in the area constituency of Poroporena Laura Bada, I stand here. I've just come from one of those tents there that I was trying to check if my name was on the roll, and I'm disappointed right now as I found out that my name is not on the common roll, and I'm wondering why is that.
Others also shared the same sentiments, with one voter posting on Facebook that she could not vote as someone had already voted under her name.
Electoral Commission, EMI got right to compile every individual eligible voter's name on the certified list of voters. And the onus is on them.
Podivai, National EMTV News.
The deferral of polling for the Moresby Northwest by-election is a warning sign for the government and stakeholders to prioritise coordination of key agencies prior to the conduct of the 2022 national elections. This sound warning is from Transparency International PNG.
Polling for the Moresby Northwest by-election is underway today after being deferred on Wednesday. The reason was lack of police preparation. Corruption watchdog Transparency International PNG says the deferral of the Moresby Northwest polling is a warning sign for the government and stakeholders to prioritize coordination of key agencies prior to the conduct of the 2022 national elections. TIPNG in a statement said the most pressing priority will be the appointment of a permanent electoral commissioner and key administrative staff to ensure continuity and accountability within the PNG Electoral Commission. Chair of TIPNG, Peter Aiti, says this deferral points to the need for transparent and accountable national coordination through the Interdepartmental Election Committee and sub-nationally through the Provincial Electoral Steering Committee. In NCD, the PESC was able to bring the police and the PNG EC together to ensure coordination so that citizens' right to vote is not infringed. He adds the Electoral Commission Appointments Committee, chaired by the Prime Minister, must convene as a matter of agency to recruit and appoint a permanent head of the PNG EC so that there is accountability for decisions such as the deferral of the Moresby Northwest by-election. He concludes that the people of Papua New Guinea need to have confidence in the PNG Electoral Commission and its officers if it is to fulfill its essential role in the country's democracy. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
The University of Natural Resources and Environment has been suspended yet again. This week, students locked a number of facilities after they were not able to get a favourable response from the university regarding their petition.
Students from the University of Natural Resources and Environment have always been vocal on issues affecting them and the institution. On Tuesday, they have protested to the administration on what they have claimed are outstanding issues, such as student welfare and academic issues such as the appointment of lecturers or department heads without proper qualifications. With no favorable response, the students then locked the school facilities, which include the Chancellor's Building, Registrar's Office, Accounts Office, and the Students' Administration Office.
Well, there are several issues that prompted us to take those sections, and one of them was the SRC president, or the Student Representative Council president. According to the University's Council Standing Orders 2017, Section C, subsection titled PNG Unary Line Management and Organizational Structure, the SRC president should attend the governing council, and that didn't transpire. That's the main reason why we storm into those offices and we lock up those offices.
SRC President James Waikila, on behalf of the students, explained why they are frustrated.
The main reason that we storm into those offices and lock them up was the continuous negligence of students' issues over the years.
Students now want the authorities from the Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, including the minister, to address their grievances.
And we are now waiting on the Minister of the Office of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, as well as the Secretary for the Office of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology to come down and address our issue as soon as possible.
Alexis Sengi, National EMTV News.
The country's leading superannuation provider NASFUND have made a commitment to plant more than 100 trees every year in support of NCD's 1 Million Trees campaign. By joining Nature Park's Trees for Life initiative, NASFUND staff today planted trees to mark the start of their commitment. NASFUND Chief Officer Human Capital Vincent Lialu says this is their corporate responsibility to promote the preservation and sustainability of our environment.
In commemoration of World Environment Day, Papua New Guinea's leading superannuation provider NASFUND is committed to planting trees to support the global initiative of ecosystem restoration. NASFUND staff gathered this morning at Nature Park and planted trees.
100 to 300 trees every year, with the objective to plant 1,000 to 3,000 trees by 2030. So,
in 2019, NCD Governor Powers Pakop launched an initiative to plant 1 million trees in the nation's capital every year. On the 6th of March last year, the Environment and Conservation Minister Wera Mori launched a campaign targeting to plant 10 million trees by 2030. In partnership with Port Moresby Nature Park, NASFUND has set itself a target of planting 3,000 trees by the year 2030 as part of its community social responsibility.
The initiative, which comes under the Culture and Wellbeing Program, so we got a number of activities that's been lined up. So one is to join the global community in the World Environment Day, and that is to restore the ecosystem, basically. So this is the first time that the fund has actually come out and take part in the World Environment Day, more formal, more structured.
NASFUND's Chief Officer Human Capital Vincent Lialu says their other centers in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Madang and Leh are also doing cleanup and taking the initiative to plant trees.
Goroka, we have clean-a-thon, plus planting trees, and also in Madang, they also joining us in this during the World Environment Day.
NASFUND has made a commitment to plant 300 trees every year until 2030 all across the country.
By 2030, we can put our hand to heart and say, look, we have supported the global community in planting 1 million trees.
Lilian Sopera Kenea, National EMTV News.
Still to come on National EMTV News, a public-private partnership to address housing issues and a new labour ward for Angao Hospital. Those stories and more after the break. Welcome back. A public-private partnership is seen as a way forward to address increasing housing issues in the country. A first of its kind but worthy investment is a partnership between the Lands Department and Number One Super Limited to build affordable housing. Both agencies signed a memorandum of understanding on Thursday for Number One Super to have access to portion 2158 at the 8 and 9 Mile area in Port Moresby and proceed with its housing plans.
Number One Super Limited is embarking on building affordable houses right across the country, and they are starting in the nation's capital. The Super Fund on Thursday signed a memorandum of understanding with the Lands Department to have the lease for portion 2158 at 9 Mile. This portion of land was the subject of a court battle until recently. Portion 2158 is now part of 3 other portions of land owned by Number One Super intended for the housing project. The MOU signing initiates the process of developing the land.
Affordable housing isn't just about the land, it's about other factors that actually go into being able to build that house and then to be able to pay off a house. So we're quite pleased that that first step has been taken today in securing the land. We also need to work with other agencies to look at how we can bring those services to our members. Things that we've talked about there, the water, the power, and the super funds are quite well positioned to be able to assist in that infrastructure. So thinking about how can we assist elsewhere to look at how we can drive those prices down, as well as make sure that we're actually generating a return.
Lands Minister John Rosso said finding ways to provide affordable housing for the people is an important initiative for the Pangu-led government.
Affordable housing has been a long outstanding issue for a long time, and numerous governments, numerous entities have tried to approach it, and most have not succeeded. So when I got into Lands Ministry, we tried to have a partnership that will be able to have a transparent way of developing affordable housing for our citizens. And Number One Super, I'd like to acknowledge my sincere thanks. Number One Super came on board, and we started this conversation 12 months ago, and today is fruit of those negotiations.
The Number One Super Limited CEO explains they are planning a range of houses that are affordable to their members. While their priority will be for Number One Super members in the long run, they hope to open up the requirements.
Housing also means that we need to think around how we have things like loans and making sure members have actually got the right deposits so they can afford to be actually able to move into that house. And part of the other activities that we'll be doing later this year will be looking at how can we think around getting people to save so they can actually get into a house rather than just looking at the prices of houses.
The MOU sets the framework that is expected to encourage a wide partnership in the future that will include relevant government agencies to assist in delivering affordable housing solutions.
Everyone mentions affordable housing, but not too many people know that it costs money to provide affordable housing. It comes with other areas like power, water, utilities, subdivisions, roads, drainage, stormwater, all come into the picture. So it can't really be that cheap. So we're trying to get it as low as possible.
Meanwhile, the program leader for Sustainable Land Development Program with PNG National Research Institute, Dr. Lindsay Kutan, says this partnership is a way forward in addressing PNG's housing crisis, but hopes there is more private sector involvement to ensure not just the middle or high income earners can have affordable housing, but low income earners as well. Dr. Kutan, in a report released in April this year, suggested that a holistic framework is needed to address the housing crisis in PNG. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
The government has announced a radical new tax that drastically reduces costs to small businesses. Under the new regime, micro SMEs and other small businesses will pay a fixed rate of 250 kina per year, paid in 4 portions every 3 months. Business owners will be required to fill in a 1-page form when filing their tax returns.
Outside the IRC office in Lae, a group of small business owners gathered to hear the announcement broadcast live from Port Moresby.
All system configurations, administration readiness, everything were done and we are ready to go. So thank you.
It's a radical approach to taxation for small businesses, and it's designed to capture a potentially large tax base in the informal sector. And it's also meant to ease the tax burden for existing small businesses.
Because the SBT process is very simple and the tax rates are very low, I challenge all businessmen and women who are registered under the SBT to be 100% tax compliant. I am advised that up to 5,000 MSMEs can be registered by the Internal Revenue Commission through Port Moresby and other 3 regional tax centers in Papua New Guinea.
The new tax regime, with the small business tax regime, covers the micro and small business owners. The micro and small business owners, currently they're registered into the income tax regime, which is not really of benefit to them and the government as well.
The IRC has removed the blanket company tax burden of 35% applicable to all businesses regardless of size. Under the new regime, micro SMEs and small businesses will pay a fixed rate of 250 kina per year, and that's payable in small portions of 62 kina 50 paid every quarter.
It's fixed at 250 kina per annum. There are 2 categories to it. We have the micro business and a small business. Now, micro covers those who earn a threshold of about 1 kina to 60 kina and 60,000 kina, correction. And small category falls between 60,000 kina to 250,000 kina.
The IRC has been shifting its focus from income tax to GST as its primary revenue source. This is one of the initiatives designed to help widen the net to capture GST. Scott Waide, National MTV News, Lae.
Staff at the Enga Hospital's labour ward in Lae have had to deal with overcrowding and the shortage of bed spaces for years. But that's now a thing of the past with the commissioning of a new labour ward this week. The new ward was built under the Enga redevelopment project supported by the PNG Australia partnership and is one of several other facilities being built and are being refurbished. This is the Enga Memorial General Hospital's new state-of-the-art labour ward. On either side of this hallway are 10 private birthing suites, complete with beds, shared ablutions between 2 rooms and other specialised equipment. Since it was commissioned on Tuesday this week, up to 18 women have already come in to deliver their babies. One of them is Beverly Glowe, who gave birth to her 5th child after 12 a.m. yesterday.
It was best. Because semonara blow trango mama kam sampai paini mar sampai karing baby love lo na sampai losing life to Islam and help so thank you straight. On behalf of mama, we like raising this voice na talk thank you.
One of the privileges with the new ward is that partners, spouses or guardians are allowed to be present during delivery upon a woman's request.
And here we can accommodate our guardians. We'll have 1 guardian in to assist us with them, to be with the patient during labor.
For over a decade, this old labor ward was used. On average, 700 to 900 babies were born here every year, with women coming from the rural facilities in Moresby and other provinces as well. With only 6 beds, some were forced to give birth on the floor. Nurse manager Sister Florence Nick said the new facility has been a relief for the staff and the mothers as well.
So here it's providing enough privacy for patients. While we had the previous one, it was just curtain screening them. So I feel that patients will be more comfortable using this new birthing suite.
The new labour ward was built under the Enga redevelopment project supported by the PNG Australia partnership. It is one of several other facilities that are being currently built and furbished and will be commissioned at later dates. Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Lae. Pari village in the Moresby South electorate today saw the launch of a mobile clinic. The mobile clinic is supported by the Motu Koita Assembly in collaboration with New Zealand High Commission, Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, steamships PNG and others. This launching is also part of the COVID-19 vaccination rollout program in the area.
Over 30,000 indigenous Motu Koitabuans from 22 villages in the Motu Koitabu area will now have a mobile clinic, serving them at the comfort of their homes, with the launching of the mobile clinic earlier today in Pari village, just outside of Port Moresby. This is an initiative of the Motu Koitabu Assembly in partnership with stakeholders in Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and New Zealand High Commission and steamships PNG, amongst others.
This bus is the opportunity for us to take the service to the community. It's not the first time that we've had mobile services. We've had mobile services in vaccination programs in the past. So this is not new. It's just we're trying to think outside the box amongst all the negative, the hesitancy and all the negative stories that have come out about this vaccination programs. The pandemic is global, the pandemic is local, and of course it's in the village. Professor Kebau has given some examples and we just need to get on with the job.
The mobile clinic is a fully kitted moving hospital with emergency ward equipment and basic medical supplies. And this clinic will have 3 nursing personnel on board, including a head of emergency officer. The launching also saw the official rollout of the COVID-19 vaccination program for the area. Professor Isi Kevau, a local elite professor in medicine, urged locals to get vaccinated.
I want Pari people to join me and my wife. We had our vaccination 3 or 4 weeks ago, and my brother. This vaccination idea will ensure that the numbers will stay down further.
New Zealand High Commissioner to Papua New Guinea Philip Taula stated this initiative is crucial in countering COVID-19 in the country.
I think it's a really important way of trying to, fight against COVID. It's a problem for all our countries around the world, New Zealand, the region.
Adding New Zealand will continue their support.
New Zealand government has been providing support to PNG in a number of ways, in targeted ways. We announced earlier this week or last week donation of additional vaccines to PNG, I think 146,000, which should arrive in about a month or so through the COVAX facility. And we're doing a number of other things in the small way that we can to try and assist the rollout and to support PNG more generally.
Kilawani, National EMTV News.
The Gulf Provincial Health Authority officially launched its first stage of the COVID-19 vaccination rollout program in Kerma yesterday. The launching marks Gulf Province as the 22nd and final province to receive the AstraZeneca vaccine.
The program was officially witnessed by representatives from the National Department of Health and supporting NGOs such as the World Health Organization, UNICEF, All Such Foundation, Touching the Untouchables, the Gulf Provincial Government and its health authority. Dr. Paul Wari delivered a keynote speech and encouraged frontline workers to support the rollout program.
We have in this country, we must be vaccinated. In order that the economics of this province is brought forward, I am appealing to all our 2,000 frontline workers here, provincial government, education, healthcare workers, the police force. It is not mandatory. It is up to you as individuals to come. But I am appealing to all 2,000 workers here on the front line to be coming forward to receive your vaccination.
Provincial COVID-19 vaccination campaign leader, Sister Ekaloa Mefaramu, briefly gave the rundown and deployment of the AstraZeneca vaccines and how it will be distributed throughout the province.
The important point is that this round 1, we are in phase 1. Round 1 is to protect the essential, the frontline workers, banishing people so that we will continue to work, we will continue to stand at the outpatient, we will continue to provide services.
After addressing the public who stood to witness the launching, Dr. Wari and his colleagues went on to receive the first jab of the vaccine. Podivai, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NASFUND market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina will buy $0.2775, $0.3533 Australian dollars, $0.3795 New Zealand dollars, and 29.78 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa and copra closed lower. Palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues with more stories after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Rigo District has presented its District Services Improvement Program or DSIP acquittal report for the year 2018. The acquittal report highlights major development aspirations of the district. Some development agendas covered in this report includes health, education, water and electricity.
The Rigo District acquittals were presented by Rigo MP Lekwa Gure, DDA CEO and members of the District Development Authority to the Department of Implementation and Rural Development. The acquittal report for the year 2018 covered development projects in education, rural electrification and water projects.
Commitment the CEO has made to have the 2019 and perhaps 2020 DSIP acquittals be ready by the end of this month. So we can present them perhaps in early July, as well as the 2018 and 2019 acquittals for the DSG.
According to the DDA CEO, there has been a long delay in providing the report. During the course of the exercise, they have uncovered major procedural discrepancies in the Rigo District Finance Office. This include lack of experience in providing financial reports, lack of proper filing system, computer illiterate officers, and lack of office stationeries and equipment. The DDA CEO says there are few missing documents, which include payment vouchers and copies of checks. They are working with finance officers to correct these mistakes.
But it's a learning process, Deputy Secretary, and I think everybody's excited. They know the importance of this part of their duties, and it's on us now to make that happen.
But despite these issues, the DSIP funds and other development grants were expended in accordance with the district's 5-year development plan. The local MP says they have rolled out the water project by providing water tanks for the locals. The rural electrification project is near completion, and they have supported church programs and built double classrooms in various schools in the district.
There are two things which will improve the lives of the rural population, and one of them is water, and the other one is electricity. And that's what's happening in our neck of, especially in the Rigo Coast area.
DARD Deputy Secretary Gordon Wafimbi further thanked the Rigo DDA for the report. He says his department is working on a better information management system for the districts. This is a cloud-based system which will provide real-time information on the development aspirations of districts and how funds are expended.
As long as that system is being used, it will eventually get to a place where reporting it's in real time. We'll be able to see in the system what project the district has embarked on, what the expenditure is like, and other details.
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
Yarawari Agro-Technical Secondary School has been chosen as the venue for the launch of World Food Safety Day in Papua New Guinea. The school in the Karukuhiri district of Central Province is embarking on a major agriculture program given the vast fertile land available.
With the Department of Agriculture and Livestock investing in agro-technical secondary schools, Yarawari is an agro-technical secondary school that mainly has citric crops being trialled here in the Sogeri Mountains, where the Department of Agriculture and Livestock has seen it fit to trial it here.
In launching celebrations leading up to World Food Safety Day on June 7,
which is next Monday, the Department of Agriculture and Livestock chose Yarowari Agro-Technical Secondary School as the hosting venue for the launch, given the school's agro status and the high potential it has for agriculture and livestock development. School Principal Andrew Moava says the school has plans for expanding its agriculture program, given its vast, rich, fertile land available, in which DAL is happy to provide assistance.
That's a choice that they made. But the direction we're taking is that by 2023, we hope that this school will become a fully fledged agro-technical secondary school. We have gone secondary already. Now we have gone technical, and we need to put all these things together to make it a prominent agro school.
This school has two main programs or two main aims in the school. That's agro and education, put together to mold us to become good and strong citizens of Papua New Guinea.
Our priority is on agro, especially raising livestock and also growing crops.
DAL Secretary Daniel Kombuk says the school has enormous potential, mainly for citric crops as well as other kinds of crops. The department is working on encouraging other potential schools in the country to go into agro farming.
When you look at it, most of the students will not be employed in a formal employment, and there's a high percentage will drop out. And I think they are preparing students to meet the challenges tomorrow.
The Sogeri Plato has been identified by the Department of Agriculture and Livestock to be fitting for citric crops that produce fruit like this. Dennis Orere, National, EMTV News.
And turning overseas, hundreds of liters of oil could be about to spill from a stricken cargo ship off the coast of Sri Lanka. The ship is sinking near the capital, Colombo, and there is growing concern about the looming environmental disaster. And Trukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The SPPNG Hunters face the Townsville Blackhawks in this weekend's must-win match. Despite the Hunters currently sitting on 11th place and the Blackhawks on 9th spot on the Intra-Super Cup ladder, both teams have 6 competition points each. Huxley Levi reports.
The venue for the round 3 clash.
The SPPNG Hunters will face the Townsville Blackhawks without hard-working forward Apple Capenius, who potentially faces a season-ending injury. The dynamic prop sustained the ankle injury during a tackle in last Saturday night's round 8 loss to the Redcliffe Dolphins. The absence of Capenius is the only change for the Hunters heading into this weekend's clash against the Townsville Blackhawks. The Blackhawks have named the squad, including Kumu representatives Moses Maninga and Kyle Labert. Heading into this weekend's match, the Townsville outfit have lost 5 of their last 6 matches by 8 points or less, placing them on the fringe of the top 8. Their current streak of 3 consecutive away losses is the longest in the club's history. While the Hunters have won 6 of their previous 10 matches against the Blackhawks, this Saturday's match will be the first between the two sides outside of Townsville or PNG. Hunters coach Matthew Church stated that the Bycraft Oval has become a home away from home for the Hunters, with strong support from the PNG community spurring on the team. The Hunters will be banking on the vocal support as they head into this weekend's must-win match on Saturday at 2 p.m. at Bycraft Oval. Huxley Levi, Trukai Sports.
Margaret Sibona of Cricket PNG is amongst 40 other women out of 300 applicants selected to be part of the International Cricket Council's Future Leaders Programme. 45 countries who are members of the ICC had submitted entries for the programme designed to support emerging female talent in cricket. ICC Marketing and Communications General Manager Claire Furlong said this programme is to build future leaders in the code. The 100% Future Leaders program focuses on the development and growth of women's cricket and inspiring them in leadership roles. The program is set to commence in November, and Margaret Sibona is the second female woman from PNG to train under the ICC development programs. And that story wraps up Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, cloudy with a few showers in Port Moresby, Daru and Alotau, and cloudy with rainy periods in Kerma and Popondetta. In the Momasu region, cloudy periods with a few showers in Ley and showers in Wau, Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy with brief showers in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with rainy periods, then morning fog right across the region in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kondiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Islands, including Kerma to Yule Island and Hood Point to Samaria Islands, with waters of Finschhafen through Vitiaz and Dampier Strait to CRC and Long Islands, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Samaria Islands to eastern and western Milne Bay Islands to Cape Vogel, with waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf and Finschhafen, including waters of Long Island to Medang and Wewak, with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters from Aitape to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, with New Ireland, New Britain and Bougainville, seas of 0.5 to 1 meter. I'll look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. In the Coral Sea, seas slight to moderate with southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Solomon Sea, seas smooth with northeast to east winds at 5 to 10 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas smooth with northeast to southeasterly winds at 5 to 10 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas smooth with northeast to southeasterly winds at 5 to 10 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Friday the 4th of June 2021. On behalf of the news team, have a safe weekend and good night.